Hello everyone, welcome back to Mamta Nepal tutorial. And guys, in this video we're going to start a new chapter, chapter number 1, and the name of the chapter is Nutrition in Plants. Okay, this is the chapter 1 of class 7. So now onwards we will do the syllabus of 7th class of science book. So let's start. What is nutrition? To understand the nutrition, first of all you should understand what are the nutrients. Okay, the nutrients are the component of food like carbohydrate is a nutrient which is present in our food, or protein is a nutrient. What else we can take an example like fats, like vitamins or minerals. All these are the nutrient which is present in our food and from which we absorb or we can make energy out of it. Okay, so they are very necessary for our life to survive. Okay, for all the living organism it is very necessary to consume nutrient in proper amount. So why it is necessary, what it do in our body, like during the growth period we require nutrition a lot. Okay, if our body is very small body, like a baby structure, if we have a baby structure, then baby will convert into the adult person. So for that it require lot of growths, so growth of the muscles, growth of the bones and other parts also. So these growth will help, or these nutrient will help us to grow properly. Okay, what are the else they like repairment. If we have any damage in our body, that repairment is also done by the with the help of the nutrient which is present in our food. Or what we can also take an example like energy. For our all the activity which our body do, like in the life process, what are the life processes? All the processes like a metabolism in our body, like digestion, like respiration, like excretion, all these product require energy. All these process require energy to perform their function. So to perform the life process activity we need energy, and that energy is can be taken by with the help of the nutrients. Okay, so what is the nutrition? Now what is nutrition? Nutrition is a mode of taking food and organism and utilization of that food. Okay, how a organism are utilizing that food is also known as the nutrient. Like it is the nutrition is of two type. One is the autotrophic nutrient. We can say that the autotrophic organisms, or other is the heterotrophic organism. It depend on the nutrition modes. Okay, so autotrophic nutrition or autotrophic organism are the organism which can make their own food. Okay, they can make their own food. For example, if we talk about the name of the autotrophic, means that auto means the self, and trophos. Okay, the trophic is come from the trophos, and that trophos means the nourishment. So from where the nourishment, like self nourishment, they can make their own food and nourish themselves. That's why we are calling it as the autotrophic. If we talk about the heterotrophic, so then organism which cannot prepare their own food, they cannot make their food and they depend on the others for their food. Or others like plants, they depend on the plants directly to the plants. Like if the animal is herbivorous, then it is depend directly on the plants. But if the animal is carnivorous, then it depend on the animals, or the person who is herbivorous, or who also depend on the plants for their survival. So directly or indirectly all the organism which depend on the plants are for their food. So these are known as the heterotrophic organisms. Okay, so how the autotrophic organism can make or prepare their own food, that process is known as the photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is a process through which we can make, or plant can make their own foods. Okay, this is the process. And where that process take place, it takes place in the leaves portion. Mostly the leaves are the portion of the plant where photosynthesis take place, but there are some exceptions, like in the cactus plant. In the cactus plants, the leaves are modified into thorns and spines, so they cannot perform this function photosynthesis, but the stem of the cactus plant can perform this function. So in cactus plant there is an exception. The leaves is not the main source or main part where the photosynthesis take place. Here the stem is the part where the photosynthesis take place. So let's talk what is the process photosynthesis. What it require? First it require water and minerals. Okay, it require these two things. From where we can get it? With the help of the roots, plant can absorb water and minerals from the soils, and then they transport that water and minerals to the leaves portion, because leaves are the area where the photosynthesis need to be take place. So this is the kitchen portion where the food need to be made, or we can say that we can prepare food in the leaves portion of the plant. Okay, now what else we require? We require carbon dioxide, and from where the carbon dioxide we can get it from the air. So through the tiny spores, which are present on the surface of the leaves, through that tiny source we can plant can absorb the carbon dioxide from the air, or these tiny pores are known as the stomata. Okay, these are the stomata pores. Okay, when the stomata open or closing, both the things, like when it open, it can exchange the gas. The carbon dioxide will be taken inside the plant, and oxygen is taken out of the plant, and when it is closed, it will do not take the exchange of the gases take place. Okay, so this is how the stomata will work. And the leaves have a pigment which is known as the chlorophyll, pigment. So this is the pigment present in the leaves, and because of that pigment, it helps them to make or do the process of photosynthesis. So we can say that the chlorophyll is one of the major component which we require for the process of photosynthesis. What the chlorophyll do? What is its major function? Its major function is to capture the energy of the sunlight. Okay, so when we place our model, or we can say that our plant in the sunlight, the sunlight will be absorbed or captured with the help of the chlorophyll which is present in the in our leaves. Okay, so this is how the photosynthesis will take place. So we can say that, like, what is photosynthesis? Photo means the light, and synthesis means to combine. So with the help of light, we are combining the things and making food out of it. Okay, we made food out of it. So this is the process which is known as the photosynthesis. So in short, we can say that what we require: first we require chlorophyll, plus we require sunlight, plus we require carbon dioxide, as well as water. If we have all these four components, we can do the photosynthesis process. Okay, and this process can be done in the plants. Mostly the plants can perform this function, but there are some exceptions in here also. Okay, now what the photosynthesis process mainly doing? It is converting the solar energy into the normal, or we can say that in the form of food, we are taking that energy and utilize that energy in our metabolism or life processes. Whatever our body is performing, that life process requires some energy. And what is this energy? This energy is the convertible form of the solar energy. So can we say that the ultimate source of energy is sun? We can say that, because even if from the foods we are getting energy from the food, so we can say that the food is also from where it is coming, like the solar energy which is trapped by the chlorophyll, and that trapped sunlight help us to, or help plant to make the food, and from that food we are taking energy. So from where this main energy is coming? This is the energy coming from the sun. So the sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Okay, so in short, we can say that the carbon dioxide plus water if we combine both of them in the presence of sunlight, as well as chlorophyll. Okay, so what we get in the product, we get a starch plus oxygen. What is the starch? Starch is the carbohydrates. Okay, so this is what the photosynthesis process happen, and this is what the product we get. So starch is the form in which the plant can store their food. So the storage structure, or we can say that the how the plant, in which form the plant store their food, is the starch is the form. The glucose, in the form of glucose they cannot store it, so for the storage they convert it into the starch. Okay, now what is a leaf? Like this is a leaf, this is the structure of a leaf, and on the leaves you can see that there is some pores. Okay, that's are the stomatal pores. Like if we take a cross section of it, and under the microscope if you observe a leaf structure, so the leaf structure is look like this kind of a structure. You can see this kind of a structure here, this. Okay, and these are some other cells which contain the chlorophyll into it. So what are these? These are the, this is the portion which is we called as stoma. Okay, what is stoma? The opening of the stomatal, the whatever the stomata is, the opening of that stomata is known as the stoma. Okay, and the guard cells are the cells which protect or allow the cells to open and close, allow the stoma to open or close. So this is what the guard cells function do. The guard cells will help them to, when it required to open, these guard cells will help this pore to be open. And what are these cells? These are the cells which are containing chlorophyll into it. Chlorophyll, and due to that chlorophyll, the green color of the plant we can observe, or we can see the green color of the plants because of the chlorophyll present into it. So in detail, if we can understand, this is the how the stomata is structure is. Okay, so this is the opening, or we can say that the stomatal opening. Here the, if it is open, then exchange of gas can take place. If it is closed, then there is no exchange of gas will take place. Okay, and these two are the guard cells. Okay, and these guard cells will help the stomata to open and close. These will allow them to open or close to the stomata. Okay, so leaves which have green color, the green color of the leaves is because of the chlorophyll into it. Now there are some algae also. Okay, the plants are not the only organism which can produce their own foods or can do photosynthesis. Some algae also can perform the photosynthesis process. Sometime you must have watched, like this is a pond area and or any stagnant water into it, and here you can see that there is some green color substance or patches on the water. You can see them also. So what are they? These are the algae. So these are the slimy green patches. When we where we can find these patches or green color, that slimy substance, mostly in the stagnant water, the water which is untouched for long time, that water, here we can find that there is a growth of algae into it, and they contain chlorophyll. Algae contain chlorophyll, and that's why they can make their own food also. So they can prepare their own food, so they have that ability also. Now the main thing is, like normally our plants can perform the carbohydrate, or we can say that they can make carbohydrate through the process of photosynthesis, but they also make protein. So how it is possible to for the plants to make protein? So for protein they require nitrogen, and in the soil there is not high amount of nitrogen present, but in our air there is abundance of nitrogen is present into it in our atmosphere, but that air or that nitrogen the plants cannot absorb, so they require some bacteria. Okay, these bacteria are present in the soil, and these bacteria will help them to convert that atmospheric nitrogen to a usable form, to a usable form. So this is how the bacteria help the plant to convert that atmospheric nitrogen into the form which a plant can absorb, or through the when the plant absorb water and minerals, it absorb the nitrogen also. Okay, so the same process, the similar things, like normally from the soil the plant absorb water, and through the water it also absorb the nitrogen and make the protein, as like most of the fruits we can say that this fruit has protein into it, they have rich in protein, or we can say that dals or pulses, they are rich in protein. So from where the protein is, the plant is making that protein, they are making that protein from this portion. Okay, so with the help of the bacteria they convert that nitrogen, and the nitrogen is the major source from where we can make the protein out of it. Okay, so this is what we require in the autotrophic nutrition. If we talk about the heterotrophic nutrient, so what are the heterotrophic? The organisms which cannot prepare their own foods, or they depend on the others for their food. So they depend on maybe on the plants directly or indirectly. If they are directly depend on the plants, so they are herbivorous. If they are indirectly depend on, that are carnivores. So the carnivores are the animals which depend on the animals which eat the plants. So indirectly we can say that every organism it depend on the plants are known as the heterotrophic. So the organism which depend on the plants for their food. For example, Cuscuta. This is an example, and in common language we call it as the Amar bale. So these are the very common example. These are a parasite. Okay, these are the parasite which depend on the other plants for their survival. This is normally, if you see, it is a yellow wiry kind of structure, yellow wiry branch structure. They do not have leaves into it. Okay, this is the branched structure. Okay, so where you can see this, like this is a normal tree, and here you can see that normal branchy stick like structure is covering all over the plant. So what is this? This is the Amar bale, or we can call it as a Cuscuta. Okay, what is this? This mostly the plant is surrounded or twinkled around because of this bale, or we can say that Amar bale, and they do not have any chlorophyll into it. So because of lacking of chlorophyll they cannot perform the photosynthesis process. So they make the plant on which they are climbing, they make that plant as a host, and from that host they absorb all the nutrition or food whatever he require, whatever that Amar bale required to growth. So from where the nutrition, it is taking the nutrition from the host plant, and that's why we are calling it as a parasite. Okay, what next? Like a pitcher plant. Normally a pitcher plant is also an example of heterotrophic nutrition. Pitcher plant have a jug shaped structure, jug like structure. Okay, what is the jug like structure? Like if we try to make that structure, it look like this. This is the normal structure of a, this is kind of a structure, and this is the lid. So this is the jug like of structure which we called it as the pitcher plant. Okay, these are the insectivorous plants. Why we are calling it as insectivorous? Because they that means they are depend on the insect for their food. Okay, so this is the lid portion, and that lid portion will help them, the insect which sit or land in here portion, this portion, they will trap into it because of that lid. If that lid will close, and that because of that closing lid they will become trapped into that portion. Okay, so there is a lid, and other structure is the hair. They have some hairs into it which entangle the insect which is landing on that pitcher plant. Okay, so this is how normally a pitcher plant can work or eat their food. So what he do, like normally an insect land on the pitcher plant, and that insect will that pitcher plant will close that lid, and the insect will be trapped inside it. Okay, it will get trapped, and after that the pitcher plant will secrete some juice and to digest that insect. Okay, so they secrete some digestive juice so that they can digest that plant and absorb all the nutrient from it, and absorb the nutrients of that insect. Okay, so this is how normally the pitcher plant will work. So this is what these are the insectivorous plant. And before that we have taken the example of the amarbel, which is a parasite plant. Okay, all these are the heterotrophic, or they have heterotrophic mode of nutrition. One more type of nutrition also present, which is known as the saprotrophs. Okay, saprotrophs means the organisms or mode of nutrition in which the organism take their nutrient from dead and decay portion, or from dead and decaying material, any material which is decaying, and from that area or that matter they absorb the nutrients. Okay, like mostly such organisms or such animals are known as the saprotrophs, and the process or mode of nutrition is known as the saprophytic nutrient. Okay, so the example is the fungi. So fungi is the example, which are the saprophytes. The fungal, mostly the spores of fungal is always present in our air, the spores of the fungus. Now whenever they find any place where the place is wet and little warm there, so at that place they will land themselves and they start germinating on that place, germinate or start growing. Okay, so this is how normally our fungi will work. Mostly the spores are always present in the air, and whenever they find a suitable place they will sit there, land there, and start germinating and growing on that portion. So what are the type of fungi which we use? Like mostly we use the yeast, or we use mushroom. What are they? These are the form of fungi itself, but they are useful fungi. We eat them, they are eatable. Okay, so we can say that the useful fungi are the yeast and mushroom. But there are some kind of a fungi which can cause disease also, and very major or fatal disease also. So we can say that the fungi may be harmful. Sometimes they are harmful, and sometimes they are useful. It depend on which fungi we are using. Okay, and sometimes some fungi also used for the production of the medicines also. Sometime else from this portion we can say that, like, sometimes the plants have a relationship, they have a relationship with other organisms. Okay, like that kind of a relationship which help them, like one organism is this, second organism is this, and if one organism is providing nutrition to the second one, then the second one provide the shelter to first one. So this kind of a relationship is known as the symbiotic relationship, in which the organism will live in a mutual understanding with each other. Like they live together and share their own food or shelter portion. Okay, they live together. Now examples of these are the roots of the plant and some fungi. Okay, they mostly live in the form of symbiosis process, in which the plant will provide the nutrition to the fungi, and here they are providing the nutrient to the fungi, and the fungi is providing certain water and some other kind of a nutrition also. So this is what the normally a plant will not reduce them or do not remove the fungi from their root portion. They will grow them, they grow together, and what they are doing, like first plant is providing nutrition to the fungi which fungi require, and to and fungi is also providing some kind of a nutrition and water to the plant to be survive in that area. Okay, the other examples are like lichen. What are the lichens? They are the combination of the algae plus fungi. They the both fungus as well as the algae, they live together and form a lichen, where the algae will provide the fungi to the food, because the algae has chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll and they can perform the process of photosynthesis, and through which they can make their own food. So the food, the algae will provide the fungus the food, and the fungus will provide the algae the shelter. Okay, the place to live, the shelter it is providing. It will provide water as well as the minerals what a algae require to make that food. So to make that food, to do the photosynthesis process, it require water as well as minerals. That's also it is providing to the algae, and in the return the algae is providing direct the food to the fungi. So this is kind of a relationship is known as the symbiotic relationship. Okay, so one major question is coming, like how our soil will replenish itself, its nutritions. Okay, because mostly the plants, what are they doing? They absorb all the nutrition and minerals from the soil. So from where we are getting that back into the soils? Normally when the plant make protein, so it require lot of quantity of nitrogen to make a protein compound. Okay, so from the soil, it do not have we do not have more amount of nitrogen in the soil. So we require, or plant require it to take it from the air, because we have abundant amount of nitrogen in the air. So from where? From there is a bacteria which is known as the rhizobium bacteria, and that bacteria help the plant to absorb, or help the plant to take the nitrogen which is in a soluble form. So what is the function of a rhizobium? The main function is to convert the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, into a usable form. Okay, and that usable form are the form which can be absorbed by the plants directly, and they can make the protein out of it. Okay, like in case of moong, or beans, these plants require lot of amount of nitrogen to they require a lot of nitrogen to grow. Okay, and to store also, because moong dal has a lot of nitrogen into it, and they have protein, more amount of protein. They are protein rich foods. That's why we are taking more nitrogen into it. So for to take all this, they require that bacteria, and that bacteria will help them to take the atmospheric nitrogen into the plant. Okay, so this is also a symbiotic relationship. We can say that this is also a symbiotic relationship. Why? Because the plant is living together with the bacteria, and the bacteria is living together with the plant, where bacteria is providing nitrogen to the plant, and the plant will provide the food and shelter to the bacteria. So these are the examples of heterotrophic nutrition. So nutritions are of two type, autotrophic and heterotrophic. That's all in this chapter. I hope you have understand all the concept. If you have any doubt, please ask me in the comment box, and if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. And thank you guys for watching this video.